Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Ipswich Buses full-time fans react show. That's right, the part of the show where I hand you the microphone and say what is on your mind. That is the question this evening, following Town's, well, just an amazing victory, if you ask me. Yes, it's only Gillingham. Yes, they're sitting inside the bottom three. Haven't won for a long time, but trust me, as a 32-year-old man, I've seen Ipswich Town often turn up and play down to the opposition, not show up as they should have done, and make generally the opposition look better than what they were. Not today. So we've beaten Wycombe, we've beaten Gillingham, 6 points from 6 for Kieran McKenna. Great start. What are your thoughts on McKenna this evening? What are your thoughts on today's performance? James Norwood, 4 in 4, and I think he saw out the game and he didn't get taken off injured. That's always a bonus with Mr. Norwood, whose availability maybe is not always the best. And as I always say, availability is the best ability. Don't forget, you can support this show through Ko-Fi. Please do so if you get value from us. Alternatively, if the chat gets busy, as it often can, it certainly did at half-time, you can support the show and have your say through a YouTube Super Chat. All YouTube Super Chats are read out. So, and I will, as I've proven, interrupt anybody, including the Milk Tray Man and Peter Cox, bring back both contributors. Following, well, an amazing afternoon, not one I've seen in a long time at Town. Before I get your thoughts, I'll grab the early thoughts of the live chat. We've got Adam, 2-2 away. Cambridge not looking too bad now. Well, Rob Smith, we have a new manager bounce at last. Andy, nor is the loss to Wee Barrow. I think they're being sarcastic, don't you? Mike D, fantastic performance. Morsey was superb in that second half and mentioned to Penny too, best game in a Town shirt. Ben Moore, Cambridge I've got a soft spot for, has lived here for so long, massive for the club and area because they've just beaten Newcastle today. Simon, stunning performance. I think McKenna is a better manager than Pep. Roy Clark, totally love the style that Town are playing. They are looking a totally different team. Ben, what do you think? As somebody who wanted Cookout for a while, 2 in 2, what do you think?
Yeah, this is why. A system. Oh, no, he's gone. Oh, dear. Yeah, we have a system. We have a plan. The players look confident. They know what they're doing. They know what the other players are going to be. It's everything we asked for probably from the beginning of this season. I think it was the most complete performance I've seen in years. Absolutely fantastic. And even those players that you could, I know people like Evans have divided a lot of fans, a lot of fans very dear to us on the platform, but I think that was his best game in the Town shirt today. Absolutely brilliant. I'm almost speechless. I don't quite know where that came from.
No. And I've had an afternoon of back and forth with people on Twitter. I was absolutely loved. People, for the most part, saying don't get carried away, and I disagree with that notion, Ben, because I think as a fan, it's your job to get carried away. It's your job to live in the moment. So, the thing about when Town get beat, it stings, and it stings you really hard. You don't say, "Oh, it's only 1 defeat or 3 defeats." We'll see where we are in a couple of weeks or end of the season. It stings you. It bothers you for the rest of the night. So when you win, I 100% subscribe to the fact you should be, enjoying a Saturday night, thinking how fucking great you are and amazingly brilliant things have turned out.
I totally agree with that. Otherwise, what's the point in spending the money and the time?
You might as well check in every year, once a year.
Yeah, I agree. and look, I think what you saw today was, I don't think it was just one of those odd, I don't even think it was a new manager bounce. That I saw was coaching. And believe it or not, I actually enjoyed the second half more than I enjoyed the first, because we have not been a second half team in a whole year. we've come out measurably worse. But we were pushing, we were fit, and they came out and they wanted to get out the traps quick. We didn't let them do it. We just didn't let them. So whatever we done in the first half, it was really good managed football in the second half, with a really good penalty. But you put your players in around the box. Those are the opportunities you get. I just saw 11 players who knew what the fuck they were doing. They've been told what they're going to do. They've been trained what to do, and you just saw the results on the pitch. And I've been asking for that for months and months and months. And I don't think we saw that more than a few times under Cook. And that's back-to-back wins. That's 2 clean sheets. That's players who have been average, like let's say Penny and Evans, who have come in for a lot of criticism. That's their best games today, and it's all happened at once. That's not a coincidence. That's good training, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you're pumped. You're making it. You see, I'm living in the moment now, Ben. That was a great. Pump up story, got me excited. That Jem, it's all about playing the right system, not just one system. Yep. Simon Wall, my Guinness will taste very good tonight. Brilliant all-round performance. Morsey, man of the match. Mike D, the fridge run from his own box was like Sol Campbell in 1998. Norman Greenwell, Penny was better today, but I still think we need a better left back. Andy, let's give credit to Mr. Ashton with such a fabulous appointment. Rob Smith. Of course, we get carried away. Have leapfrogged Accra and Stanley.
About now I can sleep in peace.
Callie, 4-0. Get in me babbies. Aluko, Morsey and Evans were stand up today. Wolf again solid and happy for Bond to end that drought. Love how busy the chat is. I will try and get through as many as I possibly can while getting you fans on the show as well. But if you want your point definitely on the screen or definitely mention, do it by YouTube super chat, just because it shows up in a different color, so it highlights it, so I can't miss it. Because if you see the screen, suddenly it just goes all in one go, and it's like whoa. Chris Boyd, so pleased that McKenna has got a flying start. It shows how lost Cook was. Gem, a fluid system that is dynamic and will allow our players to play to their strengths, as you were just saying there, Ben.
Simple stuff. Even Burns on the wing, I think Haim and Brenner said it, when he's just kind of making those runs, he's darting inwards and he's crossing the ball. It's simple stuff. It doesn't need to be complex. It doesn't need to be tippy-tappy. We were direct. We had high energy. It looked like we were well drilled. And how many times have we said that against teams playing against us? How many times have we said, God, they're well drilled? God, they've been practicing to come against us every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've said it so many times this season. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but with playoffs and everything, because this is the Ipswich Town, and you never know what's around the corner. But I must say, when we got McKenna in, it felt right. It just does. I can't even explain why. It just feels right. And what we're now doing is going from a feeling to actually seeing the right decision. So I agree with that previous comment about Ashton appointing him, because he was a bit of a risk. Let's face it, he's never managed a team before, but he's come in and he's made 6 of them players better.
That's good though. It's like freshly laid snow. Right?
Total.
You haven't got another fan base telling you what went wrong at their football club. You haven't got previous results of failure to go on. Whereas most managers, when you employ them, have generally come from a background of they've done well at, say, Leicester, but failed at Derby. Well, why do they fail at Derby? And it's the failings you always get yourself. As human beings, personally, we get ourselves hung up on the failings of life more than the positivity of life.
I agree with you, but I think one of the real problems we've had as managers is that every manager now comes in with a pedigree. The only reason you're getting jobs now as a manager is because you've done something before. With pedigree comes expectation. So the one thing we actually haven't got under McKenna is expectation. And I actually think that's kind of working to everyone's advantage, because I think it allows us to lose ourselves a bit in the good times and temper ourselves in the bad times. Because it's not as if he's just got a team promoted last year, so we're all expecting, Cook had massive pedigree. He's got teams promoted, he's going to come in, we're going to piss the league. No, that's not how football works. So with this guy, he's come in, we don't expect much of him. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hello, mate. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, happy times. Good of you to join us.
We've got Dave coaching. In my view, the coaching Discord has improved. Finally, a well-coached side. The modern way being managed is old-fashioned. No. Funny how we praised the ref. No, the ref was shit. No, the ref was shit.
It was awful.
He was crap.
Yeah.
He was still bad now. Uncle Charlie might have to bust out the...
Chateauneuf de Pape.
Appreciate that, Ben. It's far too posh for me. I'll just have a beer.
That's an early Frozen Horses one.
Mr. Ipswich Town, delighted for the win. Really professional for once. So excited by every time we had the ball. Mike says, playoffs, here we come. Simon Wall, and they kept pressing, didn't sit back. Brilliant. Oh, Neil, Barnsley 4, Barrow 4. Crazy times. Mr. Catalyst, a perfect 2-game start under this new manager and 2 clean sheets. We now look like a side who we always should have been with this squad of players. Absolutely. Stephen Perry,
Hello.
what are you saying this evening?
Evening, Steve.
Well, we've been asking for it for so long, a 90-minute performance, and we saw it. That was perfect. We went out, we did our damage. We didn't have as many chances second half, but we didn't need to. We just controlled the game. We did everything we did in the first half and the second half, but we just controlled the game, and they didn't know what to do. They just could not impose themselves on us at all. And right from that first goal going in, let's be fair, we should have scored after a minute if Burns hadn't fell over. So that set the tone. That set the tone for me. And I really I'm feeling for Morsey. That was he deserved that goal.
Millimetres.
In front of the away end. In front of the away end.
93rd minute.
After that game, he deserved that just to go an inch lower. I feel for him. I really do. But
the turf monster got Burns, didn't it, in the first 5? And tripped him up. But that was a sign of what was to come, because
it was. From that, I thought, this is what we're going to be doing. And it carried on. And it carried on, and then the goals started going, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, my 3-0 looks conservative now. I was really gutted when we got the penalty. But, it's like second half, we just set up, and it was like, well, come on then, score. And they just they changed their system, and no matter what they changed to, our system coped.
Yeah.
It just managed. And the players managed. It wasn't rocket science that we were going to go to 3 at the back, because they were bombing forward. When Edmondson went, he almost ran to the 18-yard line. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, this is one defender. This is one solid defender, And I'm liking every single player. I couldn't give a player less than 8. Could not.
Wow. No, I think you're right.
How good they were.
What I enjoyed, Steve, I'll ask Coxie, because Coxie obviously had technical issues. What I really enjoyed, Coxie, was how we camped ourselves inside Gillingham's half in the second half. We came out, even in the first half, we just camped ourselves in their half, and we're keeping the ball, using the ball. And that's something we've not seen in a long time. Too often over the years, Town have been just too intent to keep the ball, but keep it in their own 18-yard box. Wolfenden to Donatian to Walton, and so forth. But today, and part against Wickham, we were aggressively on the front foot.
Yeah, that's why you want to, like you said, for many, many years, Ipswich Town, we've kept the ball in their own half and put ourselves in trouble. You want to keep the ball in their half, and that's exactly what we've done today. And going back to what you said, Steve, I mean, I was going to say at half-time, we didn't actually send the defenders bombing forward like we did at Wickham, and then suddenly a couple of times, Edmondson, there he is. He eroded tackle. He could have had a foul. The referee was going to blow, but he kept on going. I'd be great if he would have curled that one in. But
I do think the reason why we could do it in the second half but not the first, because they changed their system. You know what I mean? So they nullified our fullbacks, so it made space in the centre for them to run through. So I think tactically they had to do that because they were getting overrun on the wings. Burns was having a field. So he had to do it, but it opened up space in the centre. I just sit there and say, well, this system seems to be able to cope well. With these sorts of teams, seems to be able to cope even with their changes, which is what we want to see. But we know these players are good. We just wanted them to be coached. Everybody on this pod has been saying all season, these players are good players. We're just not seeing it. Bollocks to whether we've got, I'm sorry about the swearing, but bollocks to whether we've got a recruitment room. Get a grip. You couldn't coach players. You couldnn't coach these players. And some of these players were your players, and you couldn't coach them.
Absolutely.
The fact that he lost Richardson, I didn't think that was much of a deal to begin with, and I'll credit you, Gov. You were spot on with that, and so were you, Ben. I was late to the party on Cookout, but I'll hold my hands up when I say I was wrong, and I was wrong. I don't mind being wrong, so long as we all get the benefit.
Absolutely, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about we're all seeing the same football club. Just love, just seeing it in a different light at a different time. We've got Chris Wright. I've always felt that coaching was our problem with this score. We'd look a totally different side under McKenna. Jem, for me, this was a real watershed game. Lose or draw, the players were going to be really hard. Now, with this win and performance with a decent shot, Rob Smith.
That's a great comment by Norman Greenwald in the chat. That sums up everything we're thinking at the moment. If you can find it,
Coach the system, McKenna coaches players.
Yeah, bang on comment.
Comment of the day. I think that was great.
Yeah, really good comment. Thank you for making it, Norman. We've got Ridge Boy Edmondson bringing the ball out from the back. It was a joy to watch. Rolls Royce defender. Monty, Radio Kent commentators after the game saying Ipswich were not that good, really. Sean,
salty.
there was one thing I noticed. It was especially evident in the first half. Yeah, people were showing for the ball, and they seemed so disappointed when they didn't get the ball past them.
Yes.
And to me, I see that and I think, they're all eager to get the ball. They're angry they don't get the ball, and it goes to somebody else. I like that because it shows that everybody wants to be involved, and they were, and it was really exciting to see. I'm looking forward going Bolton next week. I really am. I'm buzzing now. After that,
so we are now 8 points outside the playoffs. I will just give you a quick league table before I bring in Lloyd to have his say. There it is. I hope you can all see that on the screen. We're in 10th. 35 points.
On the top 6 for me.
I'm sorry, Stephen.
I said if we play like that, top 6 for me. There's too many teams up there that can lose players and lose games.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Obviously, up next is Bolton, who aren't in the top 10. Then you got Wednesday this month. It's important to get possibly 12 points this month, but it's a start. It already looks a little bit better, Ben, doesn't it?
It does. It's not so far away now, is it? And, there'll be some strange old results between now and the end of the season. And you never quite know because, as we know, there's always that one team. And we just seem to have got the right man at the right time with the right selection of players. It just seems to work. So, I agree. So, 35 to 46. So, it's 40. That's second. Geez, what am I talking
8 points.
About? 35 to 43. So, 8 points. So, that's 2 wins ought to get people above us. I think we're playing pretty much all of the teams above us, apart from Wigan
and Sunderland.
So that's 4 teams. We beat 4 of them teams, and they have a couple of iffy results. You never know.
It's Oxford I'm circling because they're the team that have played the same number of games as we have. So you have to, for my money, you have to anticipate Plymouth will win their game in hand. Just it makes it easier for you to track it down. But 43, that's not a million miles away. Lloyd, what do you make of the situation? We've got Lloyd up next, then Matt Stannard, and then Mr. Lee Anderson, probably to talk about how great James Norwood is. Lloyd, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
I bet you are. Felix said after the Wickham game, it was the best day of his life. I wonder how Felix is feeling this evening. Because did you see this one coming, Lloyd?
Sort of. I thought we'd definitely win, but I didn't think we were going to put 4 past them. I guessed 2-0. But I liked how we were playing nice triangles. People, when someone from the midfield would pass the ball forward, they would make a run. Most of the time, we'd just sit there and there'd be no movement at all from the midfield. Evans and Morsey clearly had their best games, I'd think.
Yeah.
Especially Evans, because every time he didn't get the ball, he would complain. He was constantly on people's ears when he didn't get the ball. Because they dominated that midfield. Their passing was very good. They're getting it out wide, getting it forward. Even if they had to come back, give people options. Give the back three options to do. And I've been critical of Penny, like mega critical, thinking he's no good. But I think he had his best game today.
Matt Penny's best game today, Stephen. What do you make of that one?
Well, regards Evans, I think he came on a leaps. I thought he was good against Wickham. He was better today. Because when Edmondson did that run, we don't notice it, but it was mentioned by Luke Ian. Evans went straight and covered his place. He went straight in there and covered his spot. So we were never overrun. Even if Edmondson had lost the ball, Evans had already gone back to cover him. That's the sort of thing that never gets seen, never gets spotted, but is so important and what comes with coaching. And Penny was phenomenal. He was up and down all the way. He's obviously got things he can improve on, but he's improved so much.
And not only that, Stephen, not only that, when people that do notice that, some people complain that the lack of rotation. So if one person comes out, someone covers that. Instead, what we had is they'll stay in their same position and there'd be a wide open gap, and then it's always exploited from any team.
But we were covering those gaps. You know, even when Walton came out and like chested it out, you know what I mean? Everybody started getting a bit of a fidget on thinking he handled it. He never handled it. But, you know, we were just so comfortable. I never even thought we were going to concede at all. And against Gillingham, that's rare for us because, you know, they always like throwing it into the box or belting it into the box, and there's always going to get a flick on. And I never even thought we were going to concede. We were spectacular. And it's rare, I said.
They were shit, though. They were.
I can't believe there's two worse teams below them. They are awful.
Wow.
Well, I'll be fair. It's like I said to you, like I said on the pod, when I said in a comment on the pod last night, they are a lot worse than what they were yesterday. They've lost some good players. You know, they did have some better players last year than what they did this year, and they all went on a free. So it's difficult when you're like a club like that. Same as Lincoln, they had some good players. They lost some players on a free, and you've got so much churn and turnover every season.
And now they've got Teddy Bishop. Bless them.
Well, they still did us a favour today and beat Oxford, so we've got cheer.
Yeah, they did lose the turn. Yeah,
Steve Evans is going to be looking in the classified ads later.
Oh, and possibly so. It wasn't a classic Evans team, if you ask me. It lacked that bite. But Stephen, thank you very much for popping by. I'll speak to you very soon. Lee's not there, so Ben, very quickly, Ben Moore. Before I bring Lee Anderson in, what do you make of today? Who's your man of the match?
Man of the match was Aluko.
Aluko. Why Sonny Aluko?
He's just different class, just little touches, little pockets of space he picks up. He's just makes us tick.
Absolutely. I'm going to come back to you, Ben, because the signal is not the greatest. Rob Holmes, so are we keeping Walton after we started today? Well, we hope so, Rob.
Hope so.
Richard Dawn. Once we know any official news, of course, Talking Town will be on it. We'll bring it to you. Richard Dawn, great performance, but please, can we carry on the run, which is so important for us to move up the league table? Mike D. Gillingham and Doncaster will be some game. The dog shit derby. Duncan Pharaoh. What our curly toes sounds like over the border things. I think Kieran's blood and guts for doing this the right way. Safety guide 20. Even though the Guilds were poor, this was probably the best performance of the season. Let's not get too comfortable, though, ladies and gents. Some bigger challenges ahead. Let's enjoy the moment. Lee, did Norwood see out 90 minutes, or did he go off for a tactical sub?
That's tactical, isn't it? You give the other two a run round, saving them for next week.
Save the hamstrings, Gov.
Absolutely.
3-0 up. 3-0 up. Give him and Bon a rest. They both got their goals. Bring two other players on. Great to see Piggott get some time on the pitch. Shame his chance fell to him. He didn't just come on, but I think a Piggott last season who had been playing games would have made something maybe of that first chance that he had. At least got a shot off anyway. So that was unfortunate for him for that, but good to see him get 20 odd minutes, whatever it was. So I think just rotating the front three really. The rest looked solid, didn't they? Ben stole my point early on.
Sorry, mate.
That's okay. That's okay.
The damn bounder.
It was the one about the second half. We're all cock-a-hoot with the first half, and rightly so. But for me, it was how were we going to come out second half and what we were going to do. Too many times this season, we've either sat back, let teams come on to us, or thrown 2-goal leads away, all that sort of thing. But I was really, if we'd have conceded, I'd have been really jarred off, if I'm being honest, because they didn't deserve a goal and we wanted to see that out, another clean sheet. So for me, the second half tells the story for me. The way that we kept going, they changed shape, but it didn't make any difference. I think Stephen alluded to that. Didn't make any difference. We kept passing with purpose. And what I mean by that is we'd move the ball around the back, but then we would break the lines 100%. And there'd be a little pass forward. There'd be a run and pass the ball to get it. And we've lacked that for a long time. But they were quite open, weren't they? And football was the winner. I think it's the old soccer Saturday, isn't it? Football was the winner today again.
Football's always the winner, yeah.
Football's always the winner.
I think the fans that got pissed on for the rain deserve to win as well. Just fucking standing there, just getting drenched, deserve to
absolutely.
win.
Absolutely.
Awful stand,
yeah. I stood in there in the heat, and that was bad enough. To stand there in the rain, they must be absolutely drenched. But credit to the fans. Credit to the fans that turned up. And knew that there was fans on Twitter. That's quite, it made me laugh. There was fans on Twitter going, "Is there not a roof?" And I'm thinking, have they not researched where they're going to be standing or sitting?
Hey, the stand's been there since 2003. They ain't going to build anything else.
No.
It's been there that long, bloody hell.
Yeah, 2003. It's been temporary.
Been temporary since then, yeah.
A temporary stand since those three. That's shocking in this Devil. But I do agree with you what you're saying there, Lee, about breaking the lines in temp with the ball. It's such a refreshing thing. And lots of people are saying that McKenna's game management is so much better as well.
Yeah.
Is that something you just
did he do any? I mean, what did he do different?
£4.49 from Lewis Robinson. Time for people to get off. Matt Penny's back, gaining in confidence every game in wing back role. Great performance from the boys. Fans deserve it. Pick that point up there, Mr. Anderson. Time to get off. Matt Penny's back. What do you?
It's interesting because I was sitting there watching the game with my boy, and my lad said to me, he says, "What do you think of Matt Penny?" And I said, "He's okay." I said, "He's been getting a bit of stick lately," and he just went, "I like Matt Penny." And I think what he likes about him is the way he drives forward. I know he's not always got the end product, but you've got to think, he looks much more comfortable in this formation, doesn't he? And I think there's more to come from him. It's interesting that we keep hearing about this other fullback coming in. We've all said, yes, we need somebody else, but I think we need cover as much as anything. They're talking about this lad from Man U, aren't they? But, Penny's done okay. Same as Evans. People have been getting on Evans's back. But the formation suits him. We've got a formation that suits our players. We've got a left-sided centre-back who can drive forward. We've got a right-sided centre-back who can drive forward. And that makes so much difference. I mean, Edmondson probably burst through 3 times today. You don't see that much at League One level. You don't see centre-backs, too many that can bring the ball out. And we have the players to do that. So, Cook has gone. Maybe that's his failing. People have called for 3-5-2 or 3 centre-backs up front for a long time. And it's now happened. And people have said, we've had the better players, haven't we? There's no doubt. There's not many players that I've seen over the games that I've watched that I would say they're better than what we've got. I know people talk about Scott Twine and on, but there's not many, but teams have played better as a team than us. And,
Yeah, that's obviously that is the exact point I was making earlier, and you're very, very correct, which is we played the teams with the kind of the sensibilities that we wish we had, which is highly organised, highly trained, and all of a sudden we've kind of come into that, and that's not so much a reflection of the quality of the players, because we all know these 19 players we brought in, they're really, really, really good. But what you have to then have is the matching to coach it. So let's bring in one of my lovely sports car analogies. Okay, you have your Ford Fiesta, you stick it in the local garage, they're going to service it, you've got to be able to drive it. You buy yourself that lovely Lamborghini 640 Superleggera. You can't just stick it in your local garage. You've actually got to give it to people who actually been able to look after it, specialists, who actually match the performance of the car. So that's exactly what I think McKenna's done. He's at least, he has this incredible reputation for coaching very good players. That he's kind of very quietly gone about. And what we're now seeing, I think, is the first stages of benefit of pure coaching and tactics. Because, you reiterated my point, which is in the second half, you actually saw that a lot more than the first. The first was wonderful. It was entertaining. It was just pure magic. But that second half, I could almost hear McKenna's voice in that halftime dressing room coming through the players to actually manage the game, to continue your press, to keep the overlaps. And to just keep driving forward, and it's a really welcome, lovely change. We're not sticking rigidly to a system because that's what we do. We're actually, I think, give what McKenna's done in this very short space of time is give players the confidence and the belief that you are good enough to be where you are. So go and do it. And if something you do doesn't work, it's okay. Someone will come in and they'll cover your role if you feel the need to do something. And that's why I think Edmondson burst through so many times, because he knew he would be covered. And that's people saying, do what you do. If you try something, it doesn't work, fair enough. But try it. Keep moving forward. And it's just the most refreshing thing I've seen in such a long time. It's so refreshing because a system is great when it works, but when it doesn't, you need a plan B. We've seen plan A and plan B now, and there's been 100% success rate. It won't be 100% by the end of the season because we're not, Chelsea right now. But more often than not, and a lot of people said when Cook was sacked, what was the thing we want to see now between the end of the season that will make you feel good? And that's progress. We want to see progress. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing. And we're seeing it in a lot shorter amount of time. I don't think this is just a kind of a flash in the pan thing. It's been too consistent and you're seeing the same things. So let's just keep it going, guys. Quietly, understated. Let's just be that team that quietly wins behind all the others as they have their massive games. And let's see where we end up.
Okay. Sean Gladden, how do I support on YouTube? Don't know how to send. You press the dollar button in the chat and then it comes up a whole range of options that will be sent. But it's the dollar button because obviously YouTube is American, so they don't understand what Great British pounds obviously are. Elliot Leader, Harper, Selena and Fraser Edwards not even in the squad. What's a team we have and now it's competitive, going to push them all and more. Lloyd, before I let you go, Fraser not in the squad, possibly off to Swansea, or is that me taking 1 + 1 and making 4?
Probably 1 + 1 making 4. Like everyone in the squad's going to get their chance.
449 from Sean. He worked it out. Good work, Sean. Thank you for the support. Thank you ever so much. Sorry, Lloyd.
No. Everyone in that squad's going to get their chance because we saw Jackson get a game. Everyone's going to get a chance to play. But one more thing, what I liked was when Evans was having his temper tantrum with his assistant, having to go at the ref. I just loved how McKenna didn't get involved. Just let them have their little temper. Just completely ignored them and worried about what he's doing.
Absolutely. Lloyd, we appreciate you coming on as always. We've got Brandon, who is probably soaked through to the bone on the way home. Brandon, how you doing?
Not too bad. It didn't rain for the majority of the match. I think it was right at the end when it started to piss it down.
Yeah.
But we're about to head over to Dartford Crossing, which is always enjoyable. It was quality though. It was good atmosphere around where I was. I was sort of at the corner flag next to the tunnel sort of bit. And the third goal was the best footballing goal I've seen Ipswich score in a long, long time. It started at the right back, and everyone, like Aluko's passed through to Penny, and I think Penny sort of knows his place that after the chance he missed at Sunderland, he's never to shoot again. So he just set it off to Bond to tap it in. But I was saying that I would have wanted Piggott to take the penalty. I think he needs a goal. But I suppose he missed a couple in the Papa John's trophy, so I don't know whether that's why they didn't really want to give it to him. But I thought everyone put in a good shift. I thought the referee was a bit crap, to be honest. I think decisions for both teams. I think Walton pretty much picked the ball up out of the area when he came through, from what I saw. And then Burns got absolutely wiped out off the ball, and we weren't even given a free kick. And then I couldn't believe that everyone was shocked that he didn't get a red for it, let alone not even a free kick. But it was brilliant. We just looked like we knew what we were doing.
He's in the tunnel.
Oh, he's in the tunnel. He's gone. He's in the tunnel. But yeah, I think we got the point. We know what we were doing. That is evident, Coxie. It looked like a team that knew its role, knew its responsibilities, and was confident in carrying that out.
Yeah, Hale McKenna. So far, so good too. Yeah,
absolutely.
Coaching our players,
right?
Just the system.
Just on that and talking about the coach and everything. Let's see where we are when we have a bit of adversity, because we've not had any yet, have we? Under McKenna, we've not, and that will be interesting. We talked about the second half about let's keep going. Look, we've won the game first half. As long as we see the second half out in a professional manner, let's see what happens when we might be scored, we go a goal down. How do we react? Because these players in the past, particularly at the start of the season,
€5 rather, from Mr. Ipswich Town, absolutely over the moon. I'm excited. I can imagine McKenna grounding the players. Keep up the great work, Gov. Thank you ever so much. But I have nothing without these wonderful people here as well. Lee, hold that point. It's a fantastic point. We'll come back to it. I want to bring in Jeremy, often with us at the Sir Ralph statue. Jeremy.
Felix Stowe's finest is here. Hello.
Right, Jeremy.
There he is.
Right, Jeremy.
I think that was a well-deserved 3 points.
Absolutely a well-deserved
Indeed,
3 points.
well-deserved.
Yeah.
Who was your man of the match, Jeremy?
My man of the match was Aluko.
A lot of people are saying it, Jeremy. Aluko is really kind of in there, and I think he was kind of people fed off of his energy. He set the energy level for the rest of the team. So yeah, I think you reflect what a lot of people were saying.
I like that 20-odd yard pass that he did in, was it the first or second half?
Iniesta Luco.
First half, yeah, sublime.
It was a great pass.
One of the best passes we'll see all season. That cracking.
Does Selena get in over a Luco for you, Jeremy, or is it now a Luco's position?
Good question.
On last night's show, Selena.
I would say it's a Luco's place to lose, if you know what I mean. If he keeps playing like he is, then Selena will either make the bench at some point, or maybe he just gets a place on his own merit, you know.
Lee, Selena,
there's no doubting Selena's talent.
Well, there isn't, but Matt Phillips would send Selena back, Lee. If it is a Luco's position, you have to think, Selena's not here to sit on the bench, is he? He's class.
Not under Cook's formation, he wouldn't be, would he? But you think if you're playing two strikers, and if we don't know if that's going to continue to happen. But Luco first he owns the shirt, doesn't he? But all of a sudden, you bring a second striker onto the pitch, and that's one of your forwards has to go. And in this shape, the only position really that you can play him is that Luco role, which is a number 10. We can say 4-3, 3-4-3, whatever how we want to do it. He plays in behind between the strikers and the midfield too. For me, that's what he's. Even the last week, I thought that's where he sort of played, but we adjust tactically off the ball. But where does he fit into this now? Where does Edwards now fit into this? Who I think is great. Where does Fraser fit in? Who I think is brilliant as well. To be fair, it would be interesting to see where we are after this window. What players he brings in for the positions we think he's going to play. But Selena, do we miss him at the moment? No, because we don't. Because we've got good players, and I'm not saying Selena isn't, because obviously he is. But we've got good players who are now playing a good system, and your system is half the battle. Your system and your approach to the game, and we've got that now, and we've got players playing in the right formation. I mean, Gav, we've got our your player of the year. He can't even make the 18.
He should be making the 18. He should be.
He should be. So we've got that strength in depth, haven't we? We have got that strength in depth. The only consider if we can keep everybody. So I mean, Selena, he's a bench player. He could sort of come on, maybe take a striker off. He could play that second striker role, or come on for a Luco. But a Luco, I think, is so much better off the ball than Selena, and he's got a little bit more know-how than Selena in terms of, he's not going to score the goals that Selena scores, but he contributes to the team a little bit more off the ball. And I think that's the thing with him in this formation. We beat McCarthy up about not playing him all the time, but McCarthy had a point to a degree with him. So it'd be interesting to see where he comes in. But he's certainly, you wouldn't want to give him up, would you? You'd want to keep him for the season, because we don't know about injuries, do we, and who's coming and going.
You mentioned the squad size there, Lee, and I said this in the pre-game show. I'd like to get your thoughts before I bring in Felix. The size of the squad is such that when you see a player like Caden Jackson make the bench, that in itself is a win for Caden Jackson, is it not? When you're on the bench ahead of your Frasers, your Selenas, and so forth.
Well, I think so, and I think what he's done there is he's because Jackson is a forward. He's not a right winger. He's not a left winger. He's suffered at the club in some degrees because we've played one up top. But when you're playing two up top, you need him because he's a striker and he can run the channels and he can play with Piggott. So yes, and it does show the strength in depth. But for me, I think, I've always said Jackson can go, but I think he hasn't been played in his best positions. And if you're not going to play him, I think I've said before, Jackson, would want to go. He'd want to go and play somewhere else. I don't think Jackson will be at the club next year. I'll be surprised. But he comes in and does a job because McKenna thinks I might need to rotate my strikers. So, I'm going to have 2 on the bench. And you do generally have a lot of forward players on the bench. And the great thing is you've got people that can adapt, haven't you? You've got Donatian, who can play that third centre back. He can go into the right side. So I think the balance of the substitutes, when you've got a fully fit squad, which we have, you pick you make sure you have the right substitutes to fit the formation that you're trying to play. I think he would have wanted to take 2 strikers off and bring 2 on at 70 minutes.
We've got to be careful that striking though, because look, Norwood's only 1 game away from a hammy, and we don't know yet if we're actually going to have Bond. So all of a sudden, you could end up in a position where all you have is Pigott and Jackson. So I think the reason he's keeping Jackson is because the places of the other 2 strikers are quite precarious. Norwood, he's going on his great scoring run, but it's always the same. He scores loads of goals, bang, he's out for 4 months. And it's a repeating pattern we've seen for years. So you have to assume, based on the past, that that's going to happen again. So all of a sudden, out of 4, you're 1 striker down. Bon, no one has any idea what's going to happen with Bon. We don't know if he's been recalled. I know there's other big teams better than us sniffing around for him. You never quite know. So all of a sudden, you could be down to 2 strikers. So I actually think that him playing Jackson is to say that, let's see what if we only going to be relying on him, let's see who he is.
Super chat from Sean Gladden, £1.79. I'm glad he posted that, because better than us, Ben. There's no other team in the world better than us. What are you on about, man?
I've been a Town supporter too long to agree with that, I'm afraid. But there are big teams in for Bonners. There will be. And look, he's just that little goal jout may have just been a bit of a sort of a sideways blessing, because all of a sudden those teams thinking, okay, he's banging in a goal or 2 a game. You might be thinking, oh, okay, we might look elsewhere because it seemed to be a bit of a, it was not consistent. If you start scoring again, everyone comes sniffing. And now we're in contract time right now. So I think rather than bringing in new players, we need to solidify the players we have that are good. Walton, Bon, this is what we need to be doing. And that striking position, we've got depth, but we've only got it in January. I want it in February.
Okay. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Sean. Off and running, Cruncher.
Sexy football. Sexy football. Is that your chest we can see there, Ben? I'm on my phone. Is that your chest?
No,
it's skin. This would be a bare chest. I'm absolutely covered in hair.
Stop shouting. Anyway, we're in the chippy.
Yeah. Lovely.
3 points in the bag. We didn't get too wet. It's lashing down outside. Everything's rosy in the garden, Gov.
It is. Our playoffs on, asks Robert Grimsey.
Play like that. There's no one that can live with us, but it's just about being consistent now, isn't it? You've delivered that performance. You delivered the performance against Wickham. When we play like that, that I just tweeted, Martin, that 9 days in between Wickham should be pivotal to our season. He's got them on that training ground. He's got them drilled. They all know what they're doing. They look like they're enjoying playing. Whereas before, I don't know if they enjoyed Cook's formation, and Gillingham got away with 4-0 today. It could have been 6, 7, 8 quite easily.
Yeah, absolutely. It should have been.
It's always second half. Look, you've seen them games before when teams blow teams away first half. We just done the job second half. We kept the ball. Obviously, their guy got sent off, and then we got the goal at the end. Look, it was a shame Sammy Morsey didn't score, because I thought he was the best player on the pitch by a mile. And big shout out to Lee Evans today, Martin. I've been quite critical of him. I thought he had a really good game today.
Great game.
Lee, if you're watching, please unblock me on Twitter now. Please, let's be friends.
Bless you. Enjoy your fish and chips, young man.
Hey, boys, I'll see you tomorrow.
What fish is it?
I've had fish cake. I had fish cake and chips, mate.
Oh, God. What a waste of time.
Fucking
Fish
those
cake.
sort of people.
Fish cake is full of potato.
It's like wandering into a brothel and just having a Coke.
God, I'd rather have a beef cutlet.
Oh!
The old beef cutlets.
Before the watershed, stop it.
Yeah.
Depends on what sort of Coke you're getting. If it's like
Want a kebab?
Oh, yeah. That's what I was contemplating getting this evening, but it certainly isn't now. Felix, if it was your greatest day ever against Wickham, my days, you have to go to ceiling.
we're just improving by the week at this point. It's just getting better and better. I don't think there was one player on that pitch today that played badly. And that the people that came on, everything about today, like, showed that we can actually play. Like, we have the time, we have the players, we can do business, and we can get top 6. It's simple. Still don't think it will happen, but it showed that we have the capability to do it. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, absolutely. It's showing the capability we've got to do it. But isn't that what we've often said as a fan base, Felix? And why there was this split emerging, where fans such as myself were saying it's time for a change, and other fans were saying it isn't time for a change. Even Matt and Rich for a long time were saying who would get better out of this squad. For me, today, and Wickham and Doncaster and Portland, that's what you want to be seeing at a consistent level, because that's what the squad can do, is it not?
Yeah. I think every single doubt that I've had...
Oh, £1.49 from Sean Gladden. Sean, you found the button and you're not stopped pressing it. We love you, Sean. We appreciate you, Sean. Thank you ever so much. That or you don't like Felix talking. I don't know which one it is, but we thank you anyway, Felix.
It's not like the fisherman. Not like the fisherman, Sean.
No. Sorry, Felix. Carry on.
No, it's fine. I think every single doubt I've had in Kieran McKenna has just left the scene of the planet. I'm really glad Bond scored today as well, because you think he needs that. I was scared he was going to miss about 2 yards out. But it depends with Ipswich, because we can do so much good and then have one bad game or something. Like we go to Bolton next weekend, lose 2-0, and we're back on this roller coaster of emotions. We'll be here saying, "Oh, what was that? Same old Ipswich." But I don't really know.
All right, Felix. Look,
whilst we can,
it's a great moment. I want to get your opinion on Cruncher's fish cakes, though, because in the chat we've got this conversation flying about what we order at a fish and chip shop. So, if you're at the chip shop, Felix, what are you ordering? Give us your order.
I'll just go standard nuggets and chips, probably.
Nuggets. It's a fish shop, man. It's a fish shop. That's like going to a brothel and ordering a massage.
Felix, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Go and get your nuggets.
Go and get your nuggets, Felix. Thank you for coming on, but go and get your nuggets, son.
Jesus.
I mean, whatever next. Happy Meal with a toy in it. Lee, what's your go-to at the fish and chip shop?
Large cod, chips, and scraps. Got to have some scraps.
You're a man after my own heart. Not the cod, but the scraps, certainly. I like that. Any mushy peas, curry sauce?
Curry sauce, nah. In the bin with the curry sauce. What's the point of going to the fish and chip shop and sticking all in curry sauce? I'd like to get nice salt and vinegar, plenty of salt and vinegar on the chips, and then use the chips to pick up the scraps. So you have like a scrap sandwich.
Oh, you and me need to go on a date sometime. We
honestly,
need to go on a date sometime.
Yeah, and a nice bit of cod.
As Jason Derulo once sang, "Talk dirty to me." You're talking my language, Lee. We appreciate you. We love you. Look after yourself. Ben, what's your go-to at a fish and chip shop?
Don't get fish and chips, mate. Don't like it.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Off.
You don't like fish. Hang on, which bit don't you like? The fish or the chips? Don't say both. Otherwise, it is a permanent ban.
Fish.
All right, I'll forgive you that. I didn't like fish for a good couple of years. I'll forgive you that. So, what are you sort of a Savoy and chips person? Are you?
Burger and chips.
Yeah, you fucking child. Sorry, Ben. I slipped. Sorry. That's fine. That's fine. But go to Mackie D. So, your points on today's game. I'm not going to ask you that. Actually, I'm going to ask you for some team ratings. We'll go around the room. Walton. First of all, is it a must we keep him? And what is your rating out of 10?
I wouldn't say it's a must we keep him, but if we can get him, then this game is a fast improvement on Holy and Lucky.
Yeah.
My rating, did he make the save?
No, he didn't have to. Didn't have to. He could have nicked the chip shop.
I would say nailing a plank of wood in the middle of the goal is better than Holy.
Steady on now. Be fair, to the Giants.
He's awful. He'll never play for us again.
No, we've got Ian Hayho. Battered Canary always tastes nice. Andy Beryl. We won't go to Bolton and lose. We'll go to Bolton and lose 2-0. We've got 2 Savaloys, says Lloyd. Doesn't like fish. Jono says scampi and chips, but Jono also said curry sauce isn't for him. So I don't know if Jono's opinion can be trusted. Dr. Zach King. Decent fish supper. Battered smoked haddock and chips. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like. What word?
Fish supper. There's something about it that triggers the hell out of me. I don't know what it is. Someone must have said it in my past.
I like a good fish supper.
Fish supper sounds like something my great granddad would say. I don't know. That's my issue, not yours. Don't worry. I'm just projecting.
We've got deep fried Mars pie from Stephen Parry. Pucker pie.
He's a Northern, isn't he? Fucking hell.
He is. Pucker pie. Now don't you go compromising now. That was a hell of an advert. Even I still remember that. Pucker pie. Don't compromise. They sponsored the championship show on ITV for a while, didn't they? They did. That's where I first heard the advert. Remember those days back in the championship. Skate and chips, Elliot Leader, cod and chips. By the way, Gov, what's wrong with salt and vinegar crisps? What's right with salt and vinegar crisps, Jeremy? Come on, what is right with them? There's only one set of crisps in the world that should be allowed, and that is Doritos. Ben Adams, Penny out of 10. What do you make him?
Today, 7.5.
99p super sticker from Neil Perks. It doesn't matter what you think about Matt Penny because Neil Perks is dropping the pennies on the chat.
Oh, nice. I love that lead-in. Oh, that is
99 of them, to be precise.
How long have you held on to that one?
Segue.
It just hit me like a bolt of lightning. I have
7.5 to 8, Gov. 7.5 to 8. It was his best performance of the season. All the things he's good at, he's done today. Some of the things he's not so good at weren't exposed, so we can't really kind of judge him on that. So I'd say 7.5 to 8. Really good performance. Pretty solid. Good. Well done.
All right. I've just had a WhatsApp message from the one that must be obeyed. Stop swearing. I must stop swearing. I do apologise.
What did you say?
I don't know what I fucking said.
Did you swear?
I must have fucking. I don't know. Apparently
Mrs.
so.
Gove, what did he say?
I know the management are not happy with the situation. Don't get this when you sat in your office upstairs, do you? No.
Yellow card.
Be on Match of the Day with quips like that, Gov. Thank you very much, safety guy. And also thank you, Neil Perks, for the money donation. Sarah Davis says, got to have curry sauce on your chips. I agree. Yeah. Coxie, talk to me about Wolfenden, because this is a man reborn.
Lazarus.
Yeah, part of the Lazarus, part of the reborn, the guy who's took his chance. It's a new governor coming, and another solid 8 today. I think, this is what you want from your defenders. No nonsense, get the job done. That's not very often defenders get man of the match, but this is what we want. And this is what we had from our back three today. So the wolf man gets 8 from me.
What would you give Evans today? I'm really interested because I know we had and we're talking to Colin before the last game, and he was quite didn't have a very high opinion of Evans. But there's I think there's a few disagreements there. But I'm interested after today. I'm really interested what Colin might think for Evans based on what he saw and kind of based on what we all saw, because he's the one that's probably surprised me the most today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll get to Evans in a minute. Oscar says, Mrs. Gov, you're too good for him. Absolutely. Mrs. Gov, as posh as they come, mate. Posh as they come. Gravy on the chips, says Alex Wilson. Another WhatsApp has come in, ladies and gentlemen. This time not from Mrs. Gov, but instead has come from Matt Phillips. He says, I once put the pucker pie for a blue and white tie. This is what I get on my WhatsApp, boys and girls. This is the randomness I get from one telling off to another. Ben Edmondson out of 10.
9.
Fridge.
9.
9.
Okay.
Agree with that.
All right. With that. Ben, the other centre half, the Don.
What, me, Ben? The other centre half. Yeah. 7.5.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
it wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't bad at all. He was just effective and good. So 7.5 for me.
Effective and good. All right. Coxie. Yep. Lee Evans.
Lee Evans. So I get the Lee Evans. Yeah, I think it's his one, if not the best game. He seemed to be enjoying himself out there today. Yeah, so I'm going to. I don't know whether McKenna has found his position or McKenna has coached him, and so far, yeah, I'll give him an 8.
An 8, Coxie says, Ben. I I think that's a little bit high. I thought Evans started slowly.
I agree.
Grew into it, but he did start slowly and was nearly at fault for a, I'm not going to say a shot on goal, but an opportunity early on for Gillingham, where he was quite poor in the tackle. But he grew into the game. But
you got to think where he's come from, and he's been, I think, in a couple of games, he's actually been quite lucky to keep his place. But under whatever training he's getting now that was different than before, you know, if he was doing kind of this, he's now just done this in the last couple of games. I want to see where he's going to be. Is he going to be here, or is he going to be down here somewhere? But I will always support a player that comes in and he's better than he was the game before. And that's what I'm seeing from him. So a real great effort from Evans, because I didn't expect that today.
No. Oscar says, I wish he had the energy of the real Lee Evans. I wish he was the real Lee Evans. I love Lee Evans. The best comedian known to man is Lee Evans. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think he means that, Celtic. Okay.
Oh, I was going to say, Jesus.
I might be wrong, but I don't think he means that, Celtic. If they're losing 6-0 to Darlington, there's issues.
Oh, no, they're playing Hibs today. No, that's all right.
Where's Burns, Ben Moore? I know you're a big fan of Burns.
8.
He played like a man on fire today.
Wow. Surprised at that.
Oh, I thought it'd be higher. I thought it'd be higher. I thought it was solid 9, 9.5, maybe even the first 10 of the season. He didn't do anything. He played like a man on fire from the first minute to the last. All right, Benz, have your opinion and stick to it, man. Remember, you were the first person.
Go and not eat your fish, you weirdo.
You were the first person, Ben, to say Matt Penny 4. Stick to your opinion.
The thing with Burns is, I think at times he just takes far too long to cross the ball. Like from what I've seen, especially at home, if he crosses it, he doesn't cross it at pace. It just floats in. If we cross it at pace, 9 out of 10 will score.
All right, everyone's a fucking critic these days, isn't they? Jesus.
Language.
Sorry. I didn't mean to say any of that.
WhatsApp message incoming.
I forget what I say sometimes, and I don't know what. Ben Morsey, because for many in the chat, I say many, one person, Morsey was man of the match.
Do you know what? This is probably going to be my only controversial view of the day. I didn't think he was any better or worse than any other game we've seen him. I think he's the one player that looks better when the team isn't so good. And I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I can't fall in love with the man. Not yet. I need to see more. I just need to see more from him, because I remember that first game he came in and I thought, holy shitballs, who have we just bought? This is actually brilliant, and he's not done it for me. So he was good today, no question at all. He was good, but he's not quite as good as what everyone. I don't agree that he's as good as what everyone thinks he is. So if he does what he done today for another 5 games, have the conversation with me again. But I just need to see a little bit more from me. So today, 7 for me, good, but not world-ending.
A 7 from Ben. Pickle Me Walnuts Adams. 7. Coxey, slight slide track, but on Morsey, is McKenna's greatest masterstroke so far the switching of the roles of Morsey and Evans?
So far, yes. It's only the second game, but it's looking good at the minute. Yeah,
it's looking inspired, isn't it?
Looking inspired.
Cook would have done that.
Yeah, he's got a hole in his.
Well, no, but isn't that the issue, I guess, when you've got a manager who's worked with players before? They get preconceived ideas of what they can and can't do, what they should and shouldn't do, and sometimes it needs those fresh eyes, Coxey or Ben, either Ben, to look at it and say, actually, I'm looking at a different player, and I think they should be the other way around.
Yeah,
anybody you like? Anybody you like? Talk to me.
I was lost in the chat there, so I'm looking at all the different points. I completely missed the first half of that. My apologies.
All right, Kate Riley.
Don't worry. See, now you're appreciating the role I've got to do, Ben, you know, and the plates I've got to spin. Who else played in midfield? Shawnee Aluko.
Sonny Aluko.
I could call him Sonny. Matt wants him called Shawnee. Ben, Mr. Aluko.
Mr. Aluko.
This
Which
Ben.
One? Me. Aluko, I'd go 9.
9. Ooh, getting Aluko more than Burns.
Yeah.
You were watching the game today, weren't you?
No, listen to it.
Need some more fish in your diet. Get your eyesight better.
Now he says he's listening to the game. That's no good. You can't give ratings on listening to it. I'm joking.
You're like those callers that would phone up BBC Radio Suffolk, and we'd all be dying to get on the phone to say our bit. And some old boy from Suffolk would get through and go, so what did you make of the game today? Well, I didn't actually go and see it today, but I did kind of listen to most of the second half on the radio, and I got to say...
You can say his name, you know. His name's Rich, otherwise known as Cruncher.
Yeah.
Yes, I was sitting in Aldborough Golf Club listening to the match today.
Of Ipswich, isn't it?
Safety guy 20, whatever you call him, he had a sunny performance today. Mike D. Burns was good in first half, steady in second. Aluka and Evans ran the show for 90. Talk to me, Ben Adams, about Macaulay Bonne, a player you spoke about before the game. How did you see his performance, and what would you give him out of 10?
I'm so happy he got his goal. I didn't think he'd done too much aside from that. I thought he had a good performance, and I'm absolutely ecstatic he scored his goal. It was a really good goal because he could have just hit that straight at the keeper. But he actually kind of hit it angled away on his right. So really good goal. Good. Not that there were 3 standout players for me. He wasn't one of them today, but he took his goal really well. I'm so happy for him. I hope it's the first of many. So I'll give him today. Because of it, I think it was a really well taken goal. I'll give him a 7.5.
Emerson further. Someone on Radio Suffolk today said he doesn't like Burns and we should replace Bonne.
Replace Bonne?
Probably someone who, well, I didn't watch the match and I've never seen Burns and Bonne play ever because I listened to it on the radio, but I don't think we should have him anymore.
But don't worry, because Jeremy comes through with the tweet of the day. Oh, message of the day. Gov, I drank out of my Talking Town mug today. Good work, Jeremy. Absolutely.
Tasty.
Coxie, I'll give you James Norwood out of 10, please.
Leando's favourite. Yeah, he took his goal well. You know, he worked a bit. He niggled a bit. Yeah, so I'll give him an 8. No more than that. An 8.
Okay. All right. Yeah. An 8 out of 10. That's my boy. You can hear. Final question as we end the show. What should it be tonight, gentlemen, for dinner? Kebab or fish and chips? What should we be eating? Kebab, says Ben, but Ben doesn't eat fish and chips. That feels
crazy.
Like
crazy.
You know, I mean, that's just silly. Ben, what's for your tea in the Adams household?
We've got a strictly dieting now, so I've got my one meal of the day, so it's got to be a good one, but it's going to be something healthy, so something freshly cooked. Not quite sure yet. Don't know. We'll see. Some meats and vegetables, maybe a nice salad. If I could choose, I would have scampi. I would have scampi and chips if I could choose the tartar sauce.
Why are you on a diet, Ben?
Why am I on a diet?
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm bigger than you think I am? This is very dark lights. It's all very well lit, you know, like a magazine cover.
We have met you, Ben. We do know what you look like.
Yeah, but I wear massive jumpers.
All right. Good luck with the diet, Ben. I should be on one, but I'm not going to be.
Not tonight. We're celebrating.
Coxie, how are you celebrating tonight? What are you eating? What are you drinking?
Well, we had the sort of the eats early on. We had haddock and chips from the old chippy because poor Mrs. C has got to go off to a night shift at the hospital tonight. So,
what does she do at the hospital? What's her role?
HCA.
Oh, Christ! Okay, well, so she's on a proper 8-hour shift, is she?
12.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, 12. 7 till 7.
Oh.
We
salute Mrs. C.
Yeah, good girl.
Sam says pizza. Jeremy says fish and chips. Jono says KFC. Ian Barron, is Peter a vicar? Peter, you a vicar?
No, sir. Am I a vicar?
Vicar? Lee Anderson, Caesar salad for me.
Oh, white there.
White showing or?
Simon Wall, it's got to be fish and chips, but we're having quiche and salad. Simon, that message started so brightly and ended in such a negative way.
Quiche and salad.
But he follows up with me and Nicky's Morrison man of the match for them.
Oh, Neil Perks. I sit with £2.
Neil Perks, £2. Players are 100% on. Keep believing. Thanks again. Have a good day all round. See you the guys in the next one. Absolutely. Thank you, safety guy. Right, we are done. It is 6 p.m. I am logging off. I'm going for a beer. I'm going to have something to eat. I'm going to celebrate us absolutely smashing the back doors off Gillingham.
Were you playing Football Manager to celebrate the win?
I've been playing that all afternoon, Ben, so that's a fairly solid... Yes, I've just won the Champions League, the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, and I won something else meaningless. I can't remember what it was.
Ipswich got the wrong man.
Yeah,
the wrong man.
The wrong Lambert. The wrong Lambert.
No more Lamberts.
Right, we are back tomorrow, 1:30 for Talking Town, the flagship show with myself, Cruncher, and the Media Mogul. But until then, he has been Ben Ben Moore doesn't like fish and chips. Terrible. He is Coxie Bricktop. Thank you very much for your company this afternoon. The Milk Train Man, Ben Adams, and Town of One dominated somebody, and we are EIEIEIO up in the football.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning